Hey, it's Scott Barrett and welcome to The Burning Truth. Last night's NXT was packed with more twists than a heel turn on a pay-per-view weekend. And yes, I'm going solo Sokoa, as always, for this NXT review, since my co-host Matt Burns is currently buried alive in AEW's latest creative choices. But let's stick with me because last night's NXT was loaded, and I mean loaded with drama that you do not want to miss. First up, we got William Regal making a shocking appearance to support Lexis King, but wait until you hear how he threw his son, Charlie Dempsey, under the bus and possibly a betrayal. We're also talking Trick Williams teaming up with Bubba Ray Dudley to issue one of the boldest challenges in NXT, and the jaw-dropping main event that had more tag team tension than a broken faction. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's dive in to everything that went down on last night's insane episode of NXT. Who's ready to break it all down with me? Let's ring the bell and get into it, eh? Let's do it. So we opened the show with a promo from Tatum Paxley. It was a really fierce promo, actually. It really set the tone for her upcoming Casket match, which was the opener on tonight's show against Wendy Choo. And it showcased a new ruthless persona, if you like, which I really enjoyed anyway. The match itself was okay for what it was. It was fun. I'm going to say fun. It was fun. It was a fun opener. Still kept that Halloween theme that we were looking for this week, which is good. Choo's agility really gave her an edge to begin with, but Paxley's aggression really took control, and it led to a defining win, I think, that's solidified sort of her standing in the women's division. So I think now that she's in a really good place to kick on and take whatever next step she needs to take. But yeah, Tatum Paxley, Wendy Choo, solid opener. Yeah, it was fun. That's how I would describe it. It was fun, and that's what we're looking for. So it's what we're looking for in that sort of match anyway. You know, if you disagree and you wanted more from it, please let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to hash it out with you. Next, we got an in-ring promo with Trick Williams. Whoop that Trick! And Bubba Ray Dudley, who was still there after Halloween Havoc. It could have been a one-off at Halloween Havoc, but it wasn't. He was there last night on NXT, and he issued a challenge. Trick Williams, issued a challenge to Ethan Page and Ridge Holland and said that he wanted to tag with Bubba Ray Dudley. Trick's confidence and Bubba Ray's endorsements, I think it sets up a really high-stakes tag match for next week when NXT moves to Wednesday night for 1 week, and will be coming to us live from the ECW arena, which I think is really special and a great way to bring Bubba Ray Dudley back, that nostalgia feel in the ECW arena. I think that's a really, really smart move. And speaking of smart moves for the ECW arena, the next segment happened to be Ava backstage, our NXT general manager, and she was with Rob Van Dam, RVD, Mr. Monday Night, the whole show. And I'm trying to keep it clean here. And she announced that RVD will also appear on next week's episode, which is really exciting. And, really looking forward to seeing RVD next week. Not too sure at this point what part he will play. But yeah, RVD on next week's ECW Arena NXT show on Wednesday night. And that does mean, while we're talking about it, that the NXT review that I do every week will actually go on Thursday morning next week, as if I do it on Wednesday morning, it'll be way too early, yeah? So we're moving to Thursday morning just for 1 week, whilst NXT moves to Wednesday night. Following that, we had another little segment, and I'm a bit confused by this because I'm not really sure where it's going, but we had Sean Spears, or the former Ty Dillinger. He is a perfect 10. That didn't work then because of the background. I tried to do 10 fingers. I'll do to you. 10. And he approached the D'Angelo family, and there was hints of a possible alliance. I think Sean Spears is looking for more influence around NXT, and I'm not sure where this goes in terms of the character arc or the story that they're trying to tell you. But I suppose for me, it's just let's see what happens. Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do here, because I like Sean Spears. I'm not sure of the Sean Spears character versus the Ty Dillinger character. maybe I'm the only one here, but I actually quite prefer Ty Dillinger. But the D'Angelo family, I'm totally in. Tony D'Angelo, I'm a big fan of. After I've been watching this for the last 5 weeks, so yeah, I'm fully in with these characters. Next, we got the Heritage Cup match, and this is what I talked about at the beginning of the show. So we've got Charlie Dempsey, the champion, defended against Lexis King. Now, the Heritage Cup obviously is a round system, and that's the system we use for the matches. It comes from NXT UK originally, and William Regal's presence at ringside for Lexis King provided a really dramatic twist. He actively supported King against his son, which I thought it might be a really quick turn on him in this, if I'm totally honest. I thought Regal was definitely going to turn on King early. But Regal even offered Lexis King some brass knuckles to use against his own son Dempsey, which King refused. Fair dues to him, and he wanted to fight clean. I think he screamed at William Regal, "I am not my father." But unfortunately, because of this, Dempsey's technical skill ultimately won out, and he finished the match then with a German suplex that took him out. And I think, Regal's involvement definitely hinted at unresolved family tension, and I'm unsure how this continues, whether we see more Regal and Lexis King, or whether we see a lot more Regal and Dempsey going forward. I'm unsure at this point, but I'm excited for it either way, because William Regal on telly is good news. Regal on telly equals good telly. That's what I'm going to say. So that was quite good, actually. I wasn't looking forward to the round style match on NXT. I'm not a big fan of the Heritage Cup as an idea, really. I understand the reasons for it, etc. But I just feel like it's a bit... it's tried to be different than, right? So you can be more than, less than, different than, one of my favourite podcasters says. And the Heritage Cup has tried to be different than. It is possible to be different than and less than. And I think that's where we are with this. Different than and less than. So that's just where I come on the Heritage Cup. You might disagree. You might think it's the best thing in wrestling. But for me, that's where I rate it. Next, we got the debut of Zaria, right? And I think the debut of Zaria, I was genuinely really looking forward to, and didn't disappoint. She is an absolute beast. Beat Amari Miller in dominant fashion, finishing it with an F5. And then post-match, there was absolute chaos because Fatal Influence interrupted Zaria's celebration through the crowd, all three of them. Then Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade interrupted again through the entranceway. And before you know it, the 5 members of Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, were circling the ring, about to come and get Zaria. It wasn't then. In fact, it was then that Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Kalani Jordan all ran to the ring to support. So then you've got Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Kalani Jordan, Zaria, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and all 3 members of Fatal Influence in the ring. And whose music should hit but the returning Jordan Grace? And that was brilliant. So she quickly joined the team. It created a massive 5-on-5 brawl. Bang, 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 bang in the ring. The baby faces cleared the ring eventually. And not long after that, we got a 5-on-5 match announced for next week at the ECW Arena. So we've got this huge 5-on-5 women's tag match next week to look forward to. Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade. So both the NXT Women's Champion and the NXT Women's North American Champion on one side, versus the team of Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and Zaria. I think, take my money. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Next week's Wednesday night, NXT from the ECW Arena. How could you not be looking forward to that? I think, and this proves it, NXT has the best women's division in wrestling right now. That's what I'm discovering week on week. So over the last 5 weeks, however long I've been doing these reviews now and keeping up with NXT regularly again, as I didn't do previously, I am absolutely amazed by the quality and the depth of the NXT women's roster. I think it's brilliant. So, yeah. And while we're talking about that, that's 10 huge characters in the women's division. And straight after, we've got Kalani Jordan, who is one of them. And she's against Nikita Lyons, right? So we've got another absolutely huge women's wrestling star in Nikita Lyons. And it just, again, proves my point. The depth of this roster is incredible. So Kalani Jordan actually defeated Nikita Lyons after a distraction left Lyons to miss the Vader bomb. Rizzo attacked after the match, and Jordan stepped in, and it sort of escalated the rivalry further. But Rizzo obviously attacking Lyons is sort of the next step of what we were talking about on the Halloween Havoc review, which is Rizzo was attacked last week and she thinks she knows who did it and she thinks it's Nikita Lyons. So that's the dynamic and we'll see where that goes over the next few weeks. But yeah, exciting, man. NXT Women's Division, popping. We then got an Ethan Page promo in the ring. So he declared his intentions to reclaim the NXT Championship. Of course he did. He was only to be interrupted by Ridge Holland, who asserted his own claim that he wants to be the NXT champion, and rightly so. I mean, I talked about this on the NXT Halloween Havoc review, but I am not a big Ridge Holland guy. I'm not a fan at all. I don't rate him. I just don't get it, right? And I'm brave enough to say that. If you disagree, by all means, write in the comments below. But Ridge Holland, he's not for me. But Holland then also taunted Bubba Ray Dudley's decision to side with Trick, which prompted Bubba Ray Dudley to step in. Verbal confrontation. Bubba Ray Dudley always got the goods in terms of promo. And the confrontation escalated. Dudley ended up decking Holland, or punching him, for those who don't know what decking is, before Page attacked him from behind. Trick Williams then came out to make the save, and then it's official now. We've got this tag team match for next week. We've got Trick and Bubba in the ECW arena versus Ridge Holland and Ethan Page. And I mean, who isn't up for that either? Do you know what I mean? Another massive match for next week's NXT. Really, really clever how we are continuously teased and given in NXT. Great storytelling, and the brand is really strong currently for me. We then got a backstage segment where Julia, Stephanie Vacquier, Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, and Zaria were discussing their upcoming match next week, that 5-on-5 tag match that I talked about. Rhea Ripley interrupted, and that added some tension to the upcoming showdown. Everybody's talking about the NXT Women's Division, including Rhea Ripley, which is really good. I haven't got it in my notes here, but also later in the night, and this is more a beat for the Raw story between Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day. But towards the end of the night, Rhea Ripley was laid out in the parking lot, covered in blood, really been done over. And we're led to believe that that was Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez that did that. But yeah, so we've got that story ongoing as well. But I'll say it again, the women's division in NXT is the best in the world. Quote me. You know what I mean? Get it in the comments if you disagree, but you're wrong. Then we got the main event, which I was really happy with again. So we got Axiom and Nathan Frazer, or Fraxiom as they're called, defending the NXT tag team titles against Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. And let's be fair, we knew this was going to be massive, right? We absolutely knew this was going to be a fantastic match. It was fast-paced, all four men trading strikes, counters, flippy-doos, spinny doors. Tensions between Axiom and Frazer surfaced because, Frazer ignored Axiom's tag request. It led to a bit of a heated exchange. They've really, really teased this split up of this tag team. I think they've been teasing it for about 12 months now, although I've only been watching the show for 5 weeks. I'm very aware that this has been going on a long time. Evans and Alexander are impressed with the high-flying moves. If you've been watching these reviews for a few weeks, I absolutely love Javon Evans. I think he's fantastic. The springboard cutter and the destroyer from Axiom. So the springboard cutter from Evans and the destroyer from Axiom, highlights for me in the match. I thought absolutely fantastic. Wesley's interference further complicated things, ultimately leading to Axiom and Frazer's finish on Alexander amid the boos. The unresolved tension with Axiom and Frazer's partnership hinted at an imminent breakup, really, but Axiom and Frazer retained the title somehow, some way against the team of Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. And Wesley, attacking Javon Evans again post-match and taking the fight backstage was a really smart move. Really, really smart move. And really enjoyed it. And that was the main event from NXT. But I have got some massive wrestling news and a killer preview for this week's episode of the podcast. So it was a big one. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss it. Episode 344. In the episode, we dive deep into The Rock's huge tease about what he's calling his biggest WrestleMania match ever. We were talking WrestleMania 41 live in Vegas. Could we see the final boss back in action in a way we've never seen before? We were breaking down all the possibilities there. We've also got a big update from Big E himself. He's given fans He's given fans a glimpse into his recovery from his injury and what he hopes for the next year. Fingers crossed for Big E's return there. If that wasn't enough, I gave my top 3 heartbreaking tag team breakups or team breakups. And if you're a fan of DIY or The Shield, that one will really hit hard. And of course, Matt Burns, he's got something special lined up with his take on the AEW rivalry from the first All-In at Wembley between Adam Cole and MJF in AEW's Red Hot rivalry there. So if you ever thought you could book it better, wait till you hear Matt Burns' take on his Rebook This segment this week on the podcast. Don't miss it. Episode 344 drops. I think it's dropped today, probably last night. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and be the first to catch it if it's gone live. Get ready for some epic storylines, shocking twists, and the ultimate wrestling nostalgia. That's the Burning Truth Live podcast each and every week with myself and Matt Burns. You don't want to miss it. That wraps up tonight's NXT review. Let's talk about what's coming up next week because it's shaping up to be huge. Not huge, huge with a capital U. We've got NXT in the ECW arena. That's on the Wednesday night. So not on Tuesday night next week. We're on Wednesday night. So I'll be doing the review on Thursday morning. The NXT will be live from the ECW arena, like I said. So we've got some intense matches already set. We've got a massive 5-on-5 women's tag team match with Zaria, Jordan Grace, Julia, Stephanie Vacchia, and Kalani Jordan versus Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. Plus the tag team clash between Trick Williams and Bubba Ray Dudley against Ethan Page and Ridge Holland. And don't miss it, RVD will also be on the show. And we'll be talking all those next week on our review. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can find it on Twitter at TBT Live UK, Instagram at The Burning Truth, and on Facebook at The Burning Truth. You can listen to all our episodes and the NXT Live reactions on YouTube, and you know that because you're here. Well done. Hit the subscribe button. If you've got any questions or ideas, leave them in the comments or drop us an email at info@theburningtruthuk.com. Don't forget, once again, to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment. It really helps spread the word, and I'll really appreciate it if you do so. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff, yeah? It really helps spread the word. And you can check out the website, theburningtruthuk.com, for more updates. Until next time, Matt Burns would say, stay positive, keep enjoying the wrestling, and we'll catch you, matey, on the next episode of The Burning Truth Live. Whoop that trick.